try to get it solved for the upgrades. We do have Spider landing on the tower and Mike as well, and PXC all in this ice area for our second game. We do have Mike snagging up some of the loot here on the Syra on that beautiful skin that he has. WBG's verse against TE Wufong, the Valda L for Wufong, trying to see he can find an armor, but eating up some damage there from Burst with the purple armor. Is going to eat up the damage there off the LB focus there from the nunchucks. We do have him still trying to kite this out with no armor. Burst though, not letting go. He's trying to see he can find his elimination off drop. Does have blue fist blades in his hand as well. He's going to eat up the second damage there from the LB focus. Beautiful showcasing here from Wufong, being very conservative here, being very careful to see where he can land this. He's going to come in hot here with a big jump parry, and the F called in here from Verse into the drop down R&B, but he's going to caught up there off the F bubbles there from the Vault. The prop comes in off the nunchucks into the 1-2, and what a showcasing there from Wufong with his back towards the wall there to pick up the first elimination of game number 2.
Yeah, Verse was doing everything he could to stop Wufong from going and opening those troves in case he found an armor reset too. So major credit to that Valda for being able to hold strong, anticipating, waiting for the drop down off of that F1 before coming on through with the counterplay of that Valda F2. Frostfist now losing that weapon, has to burn that F1 combo break into the horizontal prio. So it's shredding away this blue armor that AS has available, but the 1-2 from the halberds into the V2 grab is gonna set on up for the mincing down of the charged RMB, and that is Frostfist just not have the armor nor the health bar to be able to sustain that follow-up damage, as Wufong now not allowed to have the sustain of the V2. Whoever popped that no ult zone, and I'm guessing it was Arano, so that he didn't have to worry about shredding down the Valda's 1800 HP shield, is going to be able to walk away the victor of that fight. It's moving over now. It's going to be Mike having to burn his F1 combo break to escape out of the parry that came on out from the Liam that he's facing.
97% here for the ultimate here for Mike to come online, but we have the third party coming in high here from Spider in the back end. The 1-2 off the spear, trying to see if he can turn this fight around, eating up a little bit more damage, almost completely gone off the common armor. PXC though trying to wait this out. We do have him still applying the pressure there onto Mike. Spider now might be moving on in. We have T225 in the mix as well. Lots of player in this area. The V2 called in, I believe, in the backside. We do have the Sire ultimate now invested here from Mike as well. PXC trying to kite the situation now, but T225 has his eyes onto Mike, and looks like Mike is going to get canceled that ultimate by the no ult zone, and he is going to eat up a lot of damage there in the back end. Try to cut it out, but T225 there with the pulsar for the elimination. SR Spider now against PXC. PXC drops very low. LB Pro here for PXC. Shy ultimate invested here for Spider as well. We are going to have the full attention going towards PXC's way into the musket shot there from Spider. Beautiful showcase there to pick up the elimination, but T225 not happy about that and is looking to try to apply the pressure onto Spider.
Yeah, Spider actually cancelled the ultimate out early. Now has to go head-to-head with T225, who has access to his. If he goes outside of that Forbidden Seal, he's going to be able to come on through with it. Utilizes that purple pulsar to start hitting down that skill rush damage. Spider having to activate those frost flies around him, making sure that T225 does not try to follow on through with the pulse sword until he's been able to find those resets. But here comes Arano for that third party, and now it's a matter of who's going to be able to find this elimination onto this low HP Shayol, and it will be Arano with that vertical swing from that pulse sword when Spider is on that ground, catches that cover, and now Arano can look to chase down T225, who was not able to disengage the situation cleanly. Arano coming in fresh to this fight, still with his ultimate charged on up, throws out the stone form, turns it in the direction so that T225 isn't able to find the parry. As T225 utilized his RMB focus from that fan to buy himself spacing and get an armor powder reset off, and it looks like the two players part ways and decide to prioritize other positions of the map instead.
Edward already with gold halberds in hand into the early game of game number 2, trying to apply the pressure onto Lipo. Lipo does manage to find a common armor swap, I believe. We do have him gonna take a lot of damage off one focus attack there from those gold rarity halberds, but Lipo with purple halberd hung sword in hand, he can try to respond off of this alone. We do have him trying to back out from the situation, trying to see if he can find some more resources right now with this common armor, trying to get a little upgrade off of that. But Spider moving on in, he might be moving on in and see that common armor in hand with a little bit of a lock-on key just to see and check the health and armor of a player. We do have OUG's Mike though with the common fan in hand. We do have our first Roma Yang star to form on up here for our second game as well. Do have Edward starting to move on up there onto the Plume Castle gate. Spider, Lipo, and PXC might be contesting the left-hand side. The Moonbane purchased that from Edward again. This is the second time he's doing this for tonight. Spider, though, still with common armor. Trying to see if he can find another upgrade as well. Does not want to go in there with a common armor into the realm of Yang. Edward
won his contestant salvation podium too. He's got the legendary halberds.
Ooh.
So on Pedori, he was able to get the Evolve Essence, and on Holoroth, he was able to win Salvation Podium. His macro prioritization is on point. He has put himself into the best possible position to be able to win out this first realm of Yang. Moonbane is going to block off one of those entrances entirely, so he doesn't have to worry about contesting it early, and it's potentially going to put more pressure on those other entrances too, forcing out fights from other players, which is going to mean that they're coming into that fight down resources. They might not be down ultimates, but they're going to have to be starting to eat for things like their armor and Vitalia suppliers. Mike has to eat the F1 cooldown. That gets hit into that Valda bubble. Wufong able to catch the uppercut, and now Mike having to go for the overhaul to RMB to catch onto that Valda's disengagement. The V2 comes on through. Mike's looking to try and disengage. Comes on through with his own V1 and starts looking to shred this Valda's HP down. You might have 1,800 over armor, but Mike has a stun orb that's gonna absolutely blend you into that laser beam. Mike running out of that ultimate, though, wasn't able to find the damage that he was looking for to burn the V2 out early. Has to turn his attention to going for self-sustain off of obliterating those dazzle orbs coming on through, and Wufong doesn't have the combo break, invested in aggressively, so now he has no way of escaping the grapple bump into R&B that comes through from Mike, who plays the long game perfectly.
Wow, beautiful scare rush there from OUG's Mike to recash the prio there to close out that fight. But WBG's first against OA's Edward here in the first Roman Yang. We have a Syra against Alani. Once again, Edward showcasing the Alani for us for this second game. Do have getting caught up there off the 1-2 from the dagger. Overholds, gets damage off the 1-2, but now Burst trying to respond off of this as well. Gets the damage off the LMB focus. F called in from Edward to avoid the follow-up soul break damage there from the dagger. Does not catch the prior off the scare rush. Now, there goes the ultimate investment here from Edward. It looks like Burst going to go ahead and use this timeout to take a quick little reset as well. We do have Edward trying to find it. Does manage to catch that first one. Goes into the raw uppercut. The F called in there from the Syra. Recatches, I believe. No, it's the Syra ultimate called in there in the back end. Edward now has to try to see if he can kite the situation out. Gets caught up off of one stun. Now Burst trying to apply as much damage as he can, but looks like the movement there from Edward is just way too beautiful right now. Now being able to catch a lot of damage. I mean, he's pretty much full health right now. Now the ult is gone here for Burst. Both players parry. Edward's getting caught up here off the LMB focus there from Burst. F called in from the Lonnie once again. Burst has that F up if he needs it. We do have was PXT winning his realm and Yang. This realm going into distance. 35 seconds remain. Gets the damage off the R&B focus. Burst now drops all that armor. Edward still trying to get active here in the backside of the pillar. We do have him trying to see if he can take a quick little reset, but no, it's just a bait. The 1-2 off the dagger sends the R&B focus, gets the damage. F called in once again. It's on cooldown. Burst still hasn't used it. Big parry there from Edward, and the damage is not enough. The F called in there from Burst. The stun there for the follow-up comes a little bit too early, and Edward with a small mistake, but Burst capitalizing off of that with a beautiful showcasing here for our first Roman Yang.
Yeah, Edward forced into burning the combo break on Lonnie because he committed the R&B focus from those halberds, and all his opponent had to do was step into it and parry. And that would have been round. So unfortunately for him, back against the wall, he's forced to go for that option, and it just means the selection into that next staging of that fight does not go to his favor, and now he's going to be saddled with that Yang depletion. Will not be down, though, that legendary weapon that he was able to pick up. As Star manages to catch on to Spider, interrupting before Spider can make a play of going for that no-ult zone, potentially. PST also just showed up on that right-hand side, so we do know he's going to be in the area. As a lot of these players with Yang depletion start patrolling that map, trying to figure out who is going to be the best target to prey on, and everyone who's not in that position hides themselves very much out of LOS because they don't want to be turned on to. TD25 looking to vulture on the sidelines of this fight comes and prove the Salt Smolder, just looking to apply some of that fire tick burn and start making sure that these players finding those reset windows are not going to be able to have as much of a reset as they want. The F2 already being burned on out from this Lonnie. TD25 goes for the clank against PST, throws out the R&B overholds. doesn't go for the second commitment, is trying to get the mind games against this Liam. Now comes that V1 carpet ride, very much in full swing as T25 gets to continue applying this pressure. Every single time that trick ball is able to find his target, he's going to be able to get a little bit of sustain. But can he find the Soulblum? Yes, he can. He manages to intercept before Arano can steal it out. And T25 now with the fan in his back pocket goes into disengagement, gets clipped before he can try and back away from the building, but does still manage to back on off regardless.
Wow, beautiful showcasing there from T225. Now the ultimate is so cute. She's just like doing so much damage just in the chillest way possible. It's so funny. But Arano going at it against Spurs. We have another player in the mix as well. And we had 4 players with the aim depletion timer there off of that Roman Yang. We had a timeout. So this mid game is very active right now as we see. Nice weave there from Verse to avoid the after from the Akko's first pounce does connect it for Arano off the first leap. Mike in the middle of the zone trying to take a full reset in, but Arano catches Verse once again. There goes the V2 damage there into the follow-up. The F caught in from the side right in the back end, and everybody's showcasing here. It's a battle royale. That's where we're at right now. Big V2 once again there from Rodder onto Edward. We do have a Liam ultimate out in the back end as well. The Lonnie's in the back end eating up a lot of damage, but Arano now has to try to escape with 1 minute and 50 seconds. The ultimate is gone. Needs to take a quick little reset and try to go right back in. PXT as well topping off that armor. Mike now in the mix. Arano now getting caught up by there from Edward. Edward in the backside trying to see he can find something for himself with 1 minute and 25. We do have the gold halberds in hand for him here. Left caught in. The ultimate invested as well. We're gonna have to wait and see what he can do with this. Catches the first one there off the V2. He is gonna manage to back up the pressure just for the time being. Frosted is in the backside trying to lay down some damage there with the cannon as we see him repair it. Arano now loses a lot of HP in the back end. Big parry there from Arano onto T225. He's gonna cancel into the LB focus. Drops the purple armor in the backside. We do have all these players still fighting very close to each other. T225 drops very low. Arano getting caught up in the back end. LB power here from Edward in the backside. Does not get the full damage there. Just so much congestion of enemies here being pulled up. Frostivus there with the cannon shot. Picks the elimination onto Arano. And now it's a big brawl once again. The slap here for Edward doesn't even matter. T225 there with the Lonnie kill there onto Edward. And it looks like everybody's going to scatter it out now.
I mean, soul blooms have been picked up, bodies have been dropped, Yang depletion cured. Everyone scatters off into their own separate directions to prioritize this next area of the map, because we're going to be having the second realm of Yangs spawning on up, and we're down to already 6 players in this lobby. This has been crazy aggressive. I don't think we're even going to see an end game close. It's going to be determined in the next couple of moments. That Akos, we could unfortunately see it from Arano's POV, just struggle so much into those multi-wave fights, and it was just an absolute uproar. So much CC being thrown out. Lonnie trick balls being thrown out left, right, and center. Justina freezes in the mix as well. As Star on that Justina takes to the skies. Mike holds his ground, goes for the bow shot before hopping on over to that dagger, threatening the LMB, commits onto it. Justina still holding onto that F2. Star throwing out the RMB, turning it away though, just utilizing it for spacing currently. As Mike now tries to get aggressive, out comes the bow again, just starting to chip away every single time this Justina looks to disengage, trying to put the pressure onto Star, finds the parry that he's looking for. No! Wait till we get to see the suplex come through from Mike with the dagger. And now Star back against the wall. The invisible wall has no choice but to look for a scale-rush disengage off of that pillar, finds the freeze from the F1, buys himself 1 reset, but Mike is still quick, has the phantom step as well to close up that distance and give himself an additional iframe every single time he looks for those dodges. He gets to lead into the 1-2. The F2 going to be cancelled early, but Mike is still on top of the matter and will be able to take the Justina down.
Wow, pride's fall for Mike. Follow-up R&B focus there onto PXC there from Verse. Mike running prize fall. I mean, we know how hard it is to land a prize fall. So I'm not gonna do what I usually do whenever a prize fall hits, because just out of respect to you, Moxie, I just yell on the mic whenever a prize fall connects. But yeah, love prize fall. Very, very rare to see, especially in the pro league. But OUG's Mike now with the advantage here, coming out the realm of Yang with the White Tiger's prowess. Does have the gold halberds, gold armor currently right now, applying lots of pressure onto PXC to be able to dodge that LMB focus there. Beautiful double tap dodges there from Mike. Now a lot of damage still going towards PXT wave. Both players parried in the backside. Liam ultimate invested there from PXT. We do have Verse now showing up to the party with a gold pole sword in hand, so we know how hard that scare rushes there off the pole sword are going to be, even after the nerf that happened a couple months ago. It's still a very beautiful weapon to have for the scare rushes. We do have PXC now using one of those V2s. I do believe he does catch Verse in the backside. There goes the sling out there from the ball. We do have him now getting a lot of pressure from both players this time around. We do have the ultimate ran out, 4 minutes and 22 seconds and counting for him to try to cleanse this Yang depletion timer, but it's looking very rough for him, trying to kite out as best as he can. Third player showing up as well on the backside. Mike, the first one on the scene. Star falling right behind as well. We do have him swapping on over to a gray armor. The 1-2 off the gold spear in the backside. A follow hit there for the pulsar there for Verse. Just so much damage, and the RB focus there from the gold spear from Mike to pick elimination onto PXC, and that brings down our counter there to 5 players. And Star still with Yang depletion timer on his back, 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Does has the Justina ultimate to try to see if he can make that happen, but Frostivus cutting noise here. So with 3 kills on the board, I feel like we haven't really seen much of Frostivus, but he's been putting in that work here for game number 2.
Yeah, Frost and TU5 both playing the patient game currently. They're waiting out those buffs to be done, and also waiting for those players with Yang depletion who are desperately trying to seek out a fight to have completed it. Star might check that invis bush. No. Goes right past it, but T25 has revealed himself, and he reveals Frostivus as well. It's like, okay, we're going to take a fight. It's going to be all 3 of us involved. I'm not going to allow Frostivus to go unchecked and potentially third party on in. So the pressure has forced Frostivus away. Now it's going to be a 1 versus 1. T25 and Star not pulling that punches. T25 already investing that Lonnie V1 though. Star still holds on to his. F2 is going to be utilized. T25 waits out the 3-second timer before Star pops on in with his V1. Looks for the connection of the vertical R&B on that longsword, doesn't manage to find it, but the Lonnie V1 is now over, and Star can look to make his move, but here comes Frostivus, who's back in on that fight. He's waited for the ultimates to be done before he's the one in control. F1 dash connects onto T25, sends up into that charge vertical follow-up from that longsword. Musket shot doesn't connect though, as Frostivus caught in the middle. Looked like he was a little bit unsure of who he wanted to turn onto, whether it was going to be Star or the low health T25. Backs on off of the fight entirely, and that is the last thing that Star needs to happen. He needs this fight to continue. He cannot allow these players to disengage away from him, otherwise he is out of this lobby. The buffs from winning the Realm of Yang fight are over, but that Realm of Yang depletion is going to continue until Star is either cleansed with a soul blend that he's able to find off of a player's drop body, or he's sent out of the lobby. Mike, though, on the prowl, has those dual blades, closes up the distance. Frostivus forced into burning out that Shaol V2 as well, rather V1. Going to be coming on out incredibly early, so every single time that Mike finds a stagger, that is going to be potentially Frostivus getting that headlock and keeping these players off of the chase down.
Yeah, and that's Star's ideal situation now unfolding right in front of his eyes. Having Frostivus pop that ultimate gave Star a better chance here to try to cleanse this Yang depletion timer. Super unfortunate there for Frostivus that he was forced to pop that ultimate, but now Star trying to wait this out. I
don't think Star saw it though.
Oh, that's unfortunate, because Frostivus now is getting full looked at by both of these players. So if Star has a chance, it will be right now with a minute and counting. Do see a lot of damage now going towards his way. Might eat up a little bit of damage there as well on the backside. Verse though, trying to see if he can find some sorts of damage, but Star still in the mix here on the Justina. Trying to see if he can find the perfect opportunity. There it is, the perfect drop down there. And we do have him getting very low there against Frostivus. So Frostivus going very low. Now Star with 35 seconds to count. This could be a very close one. Catches the LB, tries to go for the area of focus. Does not connect off of this with a massive parry there. He does connect off the sap as well. The cleanse does come into play. And there it is, Star with the perfect opportunity unfolding in front of his eyes, making the best of it. Does manage to cleanse. And now he's right back into this game.
And he's got his ultimate too off of that soul blend pickup. So even if he'd been pressured, he would have been able to disengage. However, these players had not been fighting Star previously. Remember, it was only 225 and Frostivus who had been fighting Star previously. They're the only ones who knew that the V1 had been burned earlier. Otherwise, Star would 100% have been the player that everybody went after. When that Justina does not have those ultimates, does not have that mobility option, she is very easy to be able to take down. And you do not want a Justina in the mix of endgame fights because she is ideal for those third parties. As Mike prioritizes positioning into the Spirit Well, wants to be able to cap it on out. Those legendary dual blades are going to be speaking a lot of strong words. As T5's health bar is getting absolutely melted. Okay, we've got Prizeful on the field for Mike, and we've got Assassin's Lunge on the field for T5. Which Dagger Soldier is going to be able to come out on top? Lani is investing the ultimate. Mike also investing the ultimate. Both of these players gambling big. They need to be able to secure the buff if they want these ultimates to secure themselves a second cycle. And Verse is now showing up to the mix, gate crashing the party and turning it into a full ballroom blitz. The ultimates are going to be done. Mike finds a parry. 225 going lower and lower. Assassin's Lunge actually called in not for the damage, but for a disengagement option. As Mike gets an armor reset on through with one of those powders, looks for the parry, finds it onto Star, forces the Justina F2, puts himself onto the rooftop, potentially looking for the drop down as T225 comes back into the fight, this time showcasing that Aurora Burst on the Hong Sword. And now these players absolutely cannot allow him to charge that one on up over the Spirit Well, otherwise they're going to be hit by that silence effect coming on through. T225 again gets that charge up, and Mike has to burn the F1 to dodge away from the silence impact. Spirit Well wall drops. Remember, if it isn't capped within 180 seconds of spawning, this one goes away regardless of the players around it. But these ultimates are being committed like these players already have the buff.
It's just a full brawl right now. Everybody fighting for this Spirit Well. We do have a quick reset in the backside, but Mike being the center of attention since the start of this. Random movement, just a little bit of left of the Spirit Well. Gets the damage off the RB focus there from the dual blades. Big damage down to T225. Now the ultimate is going to be invested here from T225 once again. Trying to see if you can get the elimination onto Mike. And there it is. Trying to see if you can catch the damage off this one. Does not catch off the second one. He's just moving around. He's moving right now. Doesn't catch the ball hit as well. No, he does. The backhand does connect there in the backside there onto Mike. We do have him re-grappling or re-juggling him there in the backside. Star is all getting hit by one of those. Big parry there in the backside. Mike now trying to stay alive in the situation with the Syra ultimate now invested. Star in the middle of the Spirit Well, eating up a lot of damage. F caught in there for the Justina. T225 still in the mix. Mike is going to be able to get a little bit of HP back there from this ultimate. T225 scanner on out. Mike knows he needs to see if he can try to stay up, but the move blade just spawns right on top of him here. That's a lot of damage, but I don't believe anybody saw. T225 probably did see. Yeah, he's still applying the pressure onto Mike, but we have Burst there, cutting out some of that pressure off of Mike there from T225. Mike now getting aggressed on by the Justina. Star does not connect off that first dash, catches the prior off the LME there, the 1-2 off the halberds, tries to weave around, does not catch the enchantment there off the F though, but Knight now with a quick combat armor swap, big damage there off the R&B focus. Dash does not freeze once again. Star now drops very low. It looks like it's gonna be a quick little reset for both of these players. Mike re-picking up his gold armor. T225 drops very low. Another Syro to be invested there on the backside. T225 getting stunned there in the backside, and Mike going right back in. We do have the damage going towards T225's way. Eats up the damage off the beam there. That's a lot of damage to the backside. Is gonna be Burst with elimination. Burst managed to get the Soul Bloom as well. Gets some of that HP back. Star and Mike both fighting for the loot in the backside. Mike just applying a lot of pressure here in this situation. Currently with 3 eliminations on the board. WBG Spider with 4. FPSQ Star with 2. And this is our last fights of game number 2. And the pace has not slowed down here, Foxy. It's just a crazy brawl happening here for our second game of the day.
Yeah, there is to be noted that Star was able to secure that Spirit Well and grab himself that White Tiger's Press as well as the second rotation of that Justina V1. The dashes have already been utilized though, as he's looking to shock down WBG's Verse. The Siren not having access to that V1. Mike all the happier to just sit on the sidelines, wait for these players to burn themselves out of those abilities and potentially coming through with that third party, as we do know that he still has access to his ultimate. As Sarah's getting clipped by these scale rushes coming on through from the Syra off of those walls from the outsides of this building, and Mike now sees that Verse is low, sees that the F1 has been invested from the Syra, knows that it's his moment to strike, comes on through with those dual blades, looking for the R&B focus to be be able to connect and will be able to find the damage into claiming up that elimination, and now becomes a 1 versus 1. Mike with the Phantom Step, with the R&B on the legendary dual blades, trying to apply that Storm Strike damage onto this Justina as well. Every single time he goes for one of those dodges, already the F2 is going to be forced tonight, but Mike doesn't have access to his F1. Will be able to escape, trying to fight that last little chip to force out this ultimate potentially from the side of Star. Looks for the grapple kick to come on through the Justino. V1 now called into play, but Mike has access to his own ultimate, and he's going to chase Star down, but Star having access to that legendary armor reset because he'd been the one to cap out that Spirit Well, is thrown a second lifeline, and Mike now sees that window of opportunity has been slammed shut by the armor reset. Has to instead spam out those Dazzle Orbs to heal himself back up to full before this fight begins anew. Both of these players can have access to those combo breaks, but neither having access to the ultimates. Star comes on through with the tempo change up into the fist blades. The F2 forced out early. Mike with the R&B from those dual blades, turning its attention into the 1-2 now, chasing on down with that Phantom Step before Star can skirmish away from the awning of that building. And now it's going to be overhauled central. Mike finds the parry onto Star, showcasing the soldier that he had in the back pocket. Goes for the grapple bump kick, but the Justina's got the F2 back into the play. And Mike now with the jump down looks to find that vertical, but will not be able to find it as he comes on through with the chase down. F1 looking to minimize the distance that the Justina has access to, and spacing and Storm Stride, and the light attack will finally close out an absolute crazy, not lost zone, but second to last circle that we got to see that just went on and on and on.